Folks, today we have somebody special in the studio, I should say, because this is my new little setup now. For I think it's going to be for my first season, I can say. Is a friend of mine who's recently become a friend because I haven't been in Aylesbury for very long. So he's a PT online coach at Pure Gym, and he's got a lot of knowledge. So I think this was a perfect person to bring on and see if he can inspire someone like myself or listeners at home. Martin Skinner, how are you, sir? Welcome to Fitpod.
I am all good. Thank you very much for having me on this, man. It's a big pleasure. And just like thank you for the opportunity, man.
Pleasure's mine, bro. And, it's always nice to have people who work hard, who have a balanced lifestyle. Now, do you have another job where what you do other than just the PT?
Not anymore. As of this January, I used to be the assistant general manager as well. Yeah. So technically, yes, I had two jobs. One was PT and one was a manager. As of this January, full-time now.
Full-time
back into
PT.
It. Yeah, which I haven't been, I want to say, since around 2017, 2018. And that was me at the gym group prior. So this is the first time at 30 years old going back into being self-employed. It's a big jump, but I feel way more ready for it now than I did before. But now That's wicked, my only source of income. I am all in.
All in, or just go home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good, man. I wish you all the best, man. And I've seen how hard you train, how serious you are when it comes to training. So why do you do what you do?
It would be easy to turn around and say, I don't think anyone in the fitness industry originally starts off and going, I'm going to get rich off this.
No.
Okay, yeah. No one does. There's not that type of money into it. It was pure passion at the start. I was kind of introduced to weightlifting, I'd say quite early, 16 years old. Was the first time I got into the gym, quite lucky. Some good influences around there. When I joined the military again, I had a lot of time in around guys who were more experienced, went to a couple of different gyms, learned a lot to do with strength and conditioning as well when I was playing football for Kettering under 18s as well when I was younger. I was trying to chase that baller life. Didn't work out, wasn't good enough, whatever. Okay, but I enjoyed it. I was kind of like opened that up to me, the gym, the strength and conditioning, the squat rack, the bars. I got to watch all the guys that used to play for, I believe it was Northampton Saints, work out as well. And those guys were monsters at 16 to 18 years old.
Playing football?
Rugby. They were playing rugby. So we were playing football, and then the same place where I was at Moulton College at the time shared facilities with Northampton Saints youth team. Obviously, they're on another level.
They are huge.
Us footballers, dweebs, just sat there watching them. I was inspired by that. I thought, you guys are crushing it. I love that life. And I was always like that. It was always hard for me to keep my fitness up, but when it comes to the gym, I loved it, enjoyed it. I love pumping weight. So I kind of got introduced to that, and then I met Stu Hamilton at Hamilton's gym in Colchester, and he's a bodybuilder, ex-bodybuilder, now powerlifter, but he opened my eyes as well. And then I had a couple other influences when I was in the military from other guys, and it just kind of spiraled from that. And then the first time I picked up Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding and read that bad boy back to back, 800 pages on twice.
You could still read that and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay. There's a couple of things that when it comes to something that you're so passionate about, you can never get bored reading. And every time you read it, you think of a new idea, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, so that was kind of my introduction to that, and from there it's just been learning really, more and more and more as much as I can.
So now you're 30.
I am 30
about
indeed.
15 years.
About 14 years of training. Like I think the biggest gap I've ever taken off that is COVID.
Yeah,
and that is it.
That was terrible, wasn't it?
Man, like it killed me. I suffered mentally.
Did you do those? Went out in the park and started doing
for a little bit
training, but you just get bored, don't you?
Got bored quickly, yeah. I was doing that. I was living in central Aylesbury, so there's not a lot of park life around there.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to drive around, you weren't allowed to do anything. So I was running a mile lap round in the same one with my missus around the same run. I just got bored of it eventually. There's only so many push-ups and things I could do in my flat before. Like I was like, I just miss the gym. Really?
It was just, I was quite fortunate because a friend of mine, my PT, he has his own gyms. And he phoned me up. He goes, "Do you need any weights?" I says, "Yes, please." He goes, "Come to the gym, pick up what you need and take it." So I took a bench, I took a few dumbbells, barbells, some weights, and I was like, you know what? I'm wicked now.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
every day I just, and he dished them out to everyone. Bless him, not many people did that. And he's like calling all his members and everything, anyone needs anything, let me know.
How does that reciprocate now after it's done? The reciprocation from that though.
Exactly.
Amazing.
It was just phenomenal because when he called me and I was like, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm calling everyone." I says, "Right, okay."
Roger that. Give me them.
I'll send you a list. Oh, what I need that Stairmaster in there as well.
You haven't got room. I'll make room. Cut the ceiling out.
So yeah, I mean, I was quite fortunate in that sense. I had some weights and I ordered some bands and a lot of stuff like that went out of stock like rapidly. And I was thinking, I should have sold them. Would have made a fortune.
Yeah. There was a quick turnaround on things. Like, I know a couple people locally. Like there was a little bit of a garage gyms going on that people were letting people use. Like I know other PTs that built their own little ones in there.
It just brought everyone closer, especially in the fitness industry. It brought everyone closer. Everyone started helping each other. And I noticed that. And it was so nice. I really liked it. So when did you realize, okay, I want to become a PT. I want to help. Or was it just like kind of got pushed into that direction and one day you're like, okay, I'm a PT?
No, it was pretty. So when you come out of the military, you get like a chance to do like a resettlement package. They basically say you get a chance to pick your career and go through that. How naive that actually is quite naive. But I knew straight away, as soon as I was going to get out of the military, I was going to be a PT. I did have interviews for other jobs. My background is basically as a electrical mechanical engineer. So I fixed everything from generators up to big wheel vehicles. And if I wanted to, I could have gone off and done tanks and other bits like that. Yeah. And it's what I fell back on during COVID times, to be honest. So I'm blessed to be able to have that. But I knew straight away. I went straight out, got my PT quals as soon as I had the chance to do that. And then got straight into a gym, the first gym job I could find. And then just eventually ended up at the gym group in Milton Keynes. And then eventually ended up at DW before I went bust down here. And then eventually ended up back at Pure Gym. To summarize a very long period of my time, but I knew that straight away I wanted to help people because I knew the power of it, the power of the rebuilding. As I was coming out of the military, I'd just gone under ankle surgery. That kind of like was messed up before I got in from football, and it's it never got fixed properly. Then I got it fixed. Then I went through the rehab and got it stronger, and I realized actually you can make a big change in people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the most rewarding thing when you see your client do well, and they've changed their life, and I suppose that's more than money can ever buy.
Yeah,
anything.
It's just when you get those little messages from people like, oh my god, like this amount of weight down, or this amount of weight up, or I'm this many inches down, or I can't believe I can do this now. Like these things are priceless because it's helping people become better versions of themselves. And not just in the gym, that affects everything within their relationships, within their career.
Everything, the whole lifestyle changes. I think it teaches you, a lot of it is down to discipline. It teaches you discipline. I mean, it's taught me a lot.
Massive component.
Without discipline, I think you could be on anything, it just won't work. Even in business as well. Yeah. You're going to be disciplined and to do. So what inspired you as a 16-year-old? Think, you know what, Jim, let me go and see what the whole fuss is about.
I had, when I was 16, 17, I'm in college at the time. I'm playing football. I'm firmly focused on football, but I'm very acutely aware that fitness is a massive component of being successful in that era. I knew the guys who were the fastest, who were the strongest, the most athletic. They were the guys getting picked for like pro contracts and stuff like that. Wow. Yes, they might have been talented.
So you were playing at that level?
So yeah, when I was playing there, we were vying for professional contracts with Kettering, and they were in the conference at the time. So it was highly competitive. I don't think, looking back at it in hindsight, I didn't realise actually the opportunity I had there. was, and I could have done better, but that's hindsight. Like, so at that time, around that, we're in the gym sessions, we're doing bits there, and then that kind of moment when I'm first introduced to like that squat rack, and around that way, I had I want to say he was Cuban. It was like a teaching assistant at the college. His name's Jeff. I'm pretty sure it's not actually his name. He just want to say it. Whether we couldn't pronounce it or not, I'm not sure. But the guy was legendary in the college. He was definitely probably on the other side of 50. But he used to be an Olympic lifter back in the day. I'm not sure like if this is true or whether it's BS, but like I believed it at the time. And he would teach us how to do squats and stuff like that. And I just thought it was incredible to be able to move that kind of weight around, because I'd never fully touched that. And the more I dipped my toe into that, especially like a big influence for me was probably around 20, when I went to Stu Hamilton's gym, first bodybuilding gym I actually went to. Before that, it was LA Fitness. Before that, it was the Leisure Centre.
Yeah.
The standard stuff. You got to go there, and if it's what's available, you make use of it. And I did. When I was in the leisure centres, I used to like bench press with the massive Polish drivers that would come out of their car and just boom heavy weights out. And I'd be like, oh, let's try and do that. You know what I mean? It was a good laugh, but they were great guys. They were great guys, very, very friendly, down to earth people. But yeah, so around that time, that's when I really got the bug bit when I went to Stu Hamilton's gym in Colchester. And if you're in Colchester, if you listen to this now, go visit Hamilton's gym, because it might not look much from the outside, but the vibe, the vibe in there is awesome.
The thing is, like, a lot of people want to go to these fancy gyms so they can take pictures and photos and everything. But I think a proper workout shouldn't be on camera, if you know what I mean.
Doesn't have to be.
Like, okay, this is my set. I'm gonna focus on my set. We'll take the pictures afterwards. And there are some sessions that I personally do that as well. So put the phones away, put the cameras away, everything. Let's concentrate on this set.
Connect what you're doing.
And then boom. Anything else, right? Okay, whatever. But there's got to be a time in your session where you put the phones down now. Let's get head in the game, and boom, let's bang it out. Unless you've got somebody who's not doing anything, then you can pass on the camera and say, okay, do this, whatever.
Yeah.
But I prefer the actual bodybuilding gyms. Yeah. I love them.
Yeah.
I would travel to go anywhere for a good session with the boys, and make a day out of it.
Yeah.
It's nothing better.
That's like I think there's a big difference between certain people that want to do that and they want to go down the pub and they want to go out and eat this fast food and they want to go out and this is all like, this is good in very small amounts.
Yeah.
Okay, for very big occasions, birthdays, funerals, celebrate weddings, this kind of stuff. It means more, especially to me
not
as
for
I get
every
older.
weekend.
But not every. Are you doing it every weekend? You were doing it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like, what else are you taking? What do you fancy doing now? Where does that lead you? Not very good places, trust me. I've seen it happen with friends.
I've come from there.
Mate, like, me too, over COVID. I had Domino's on speed dial. Like, it was ridiculous. Those guys, I should have bought shares. They went skyrocketing.
Right, looking back at yourself now, do you think you are successful in terms of, is this what it is? Or is there something more to come from Martin?
I think I've only just started. I really do.
Just started.
I think it's crazy to say that at 14 years of working out, being 8 years in the industry, having, I know a little bit. I don't know a lot. I know a little bit, mate. You can always know more. Like I try to tell people this, like I'm trying to imprint knowledge onto my clients, and I'm thinking, I don't really think I know as much about this as I think I do, and I deep dive into things all the time.
I've got this book, and I read a page or two every single day.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, okay, is this what this does? Oh, okay, is this what? And the thing is, we do these movements every single week, week in, week out, week in. But when you read about it, you think, all right.
How much do you actually know?
Exactly. There's always something to read. So when someone says, do this and do that, just because of, I don't know, they probably think that they know it. They don't really know. Do you need some more wire? And there's the learning aspect is always there. I've been in the industry now for nearly 7 years. 7 years coming now in April. And every day you just learn from somebody you've never met before, or who's somebody who's just starting. There's always something to learn from someone. You can never say,
absolutely, man,
I know it all. I think that's just arrogance.
Dangerous mentality to have, mate. But yeah, I feel like
that's when you stop learning.
Absolutely. I feel like I've just started, mate. I feel like it's even more so business-wise. Jesus. Business-wise, I feel like that small. And in PT, I'm like, that big. At least I know something. In bodybuilding, I'm like, back down to there again. Like,
so overall?
Yeah, overall, somewhere in between that, yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's just so much to do. Like, I want to do more good. I want to give back to the community. I feel that, and there's nothing against other corporations, industries and stuff like that, but I feel there's a little bit too much take going on and there's not enough giving back to the people in the community.
That's always the case, isn't it? In everything. And everything. Okay, so one piece of advice you didn't hear at the start, which you wish which you would like now.
I think
one piece of advice you think, what, if somebody had told me that then, it would have been a different story.
I mean, it's not that I don't know it or I didn't hear it, but I don't think my perspective was big enough to scope maybe one or two things off the top of my head.
Yeah.
One was patience. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
If you're listening to this now and you're 16, 17, 18, even if you're up to 23, 24, 25, you have so much time. Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Just take it easy.
Like, yeah. And then the other is a big one that I think we're all guilty of doing, unfortunately. And like, I've tried to make changes in my life to not negatively affect this, but it's to judge yourself against other people.
That's another thing. It's interesting because I was talking to my nephew the other day and he's recently started gym and everything. Actually saying recently, it's been a couple of years.
Good on him.
And I've always, encouraged him. His mum's like, why are you wasting your time? I said, it's either that or he's on the streets. It's going to be one or the other. So I'd rather know. At least I know where he is.
Yeah.
So anyways, and it's like, I says, we're going gym today. He's like, no, I'm going to go with my friend. We're going King's Heath, different player. I go, why are you going so far? He goes, he said to me that he can lift more on a deadlift. So I'm going to go there and show him. He says, you know what that means? He goes, what? I go, that's a perfect recipe for a bad back.
Yep, absolutely.
I go, you're going to lift 100. He's going to do 110. What you're going to do 120, 130, 140. So where does it stop?
Yeah, all he's done there, mate, is you see this bait hook that's like running over. He's just taken that bait and his ego's latched onto it.
100%. I says, look, there's somebody who's probably stronger than I am, and there's somebody that I'm stronger than.
There's always someone stronger. Always.
I go, so what? Where does it stop? So I says to him, look, whatever you do, do not compete with your friends or with anyone. You, as long as you are lifting more than yourself than the last week, you're a winner. That's it. That you just need to compete with yourself.
Yeah, that you against you kind of like
That's
mentality. It's
because
it's he
might
lost.
turn around before you know it. Your form's out the window, and you're just trying to lift stupid weight and click, and your back's gone. That's it.
Some people can do some serious damage as well by doing that, and that's ego lifting right there in a nutshell. It's like, I find it quite interesting. That's something Dwayne Johnson actually said, and he was like, be the hardest worker in the room, like even if you're the only person in the room. And that mentality of you versus you is that, are you outworking yourself? Are you putting yourself through the paces you should? If there was, imagine like you go to a mainstream gym, but imagine there's no one else there. Like when I'm training, I don't give a flying F what anyone else is doing weight-wise. And that Martin, like maybe 5-10 years ago, he would care. That ego, that was there. Yeah. That was there. And I'm thinking, that guy's doing 32s on the row. Maybe I could do like 34s. Yeah. Maybe I could. Maybe I could. Like, you know what I mean?
But it's like, and what?
For what reason? Like, there's no reason. Like, some baby's going to come up to you. Oh my God, you can lift the 34s. Please take me to date night. Like, no, it's not going to happen. Like, it don't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. And then I said to him, so do you understand where I'm coming from? He was like, yeah. I said, so what you're going to do? You're coming then, we're doing chest and tries. He goes, yeah, come on then, let's go.
Good.
Like,
Good.
I said, come on. I go, don't ever do that, man. That's just wrong. You can't do stuff like that.
Teaching them lessons at a young age, man. Hopefully he'll listen.
Hopefully. And, yes, they're kids at the end of the day, and kids don't understand this. And this comes with, I've done my back as well, but not with stuff like, just silly stuff like that. It's just over time, you know, I'm 37 years old, bro. I'm not getting younger, so.
Still look pretty good for 37 then, mate.
I started gym when I was 31, 31. And I wish I started earlier. I used to hate the gym. Before 30, I was like, why do people even go there? Like, it's a waste of bloody time.
Yeah.
You know, just make use of your time with something else. And now, you'll see me there twice a day.
Can't live without it now, can you? Can't keep you away.
Change the passwords as well. Shit.
Yeah, pin locking.
So how do you have your work balance? But the thing is now, you were working in the gym and then you were a PT.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty easier for you than a regular person to have a balance. Say, for example, they've got work, they want to go gym, they've got life, as in relationship, home, friends, family, marriage.
Yep.
So
Kids,
how do you tell your clients how to kind of manage their day?
So
Because if somebody's asked you, right, okay, Martin, I want you to, let's do a 6-week course or a 12-week course. Okay, fine. Then how do you keep them inspired to say, okay, for 6 weeks now, you're going to do X, Y, and Z? Because obviously with your experience, you can tell if somebody is doing X, Y, and Z or not.
There's processes and systems in place to find out what they're actually doing, like actually where we're at. So on your first point, like me as working in the fitness industry, working in the gym, that's a yes and a no thing. So especially speaking from my perspective as a PT or as a gym employee, wherever, because there's going to be other people out there that might listen to this, and you're training at your place of work. Imagine staying for an extra 2 hours at your workplace, not getting paid for it, but being around and having to deal with anything that might pop up, like having that little like, oh, what happened here? Oh, this person's got this problem. So that's a yes and a no thing. So sometimes you might want to get away and go to another gym, which, you know, around here in Aylesbury, there's a couple I could probably do, but there's not much. Like nowhere I would consider a home away from home that maybe like you have in Birmingham. You know, that real community culture kind of place. So there is that, but when you come down to time management and how do I, you know, a potential client comes to me and says that, and how do you find that balance? Everyone's unique. It depends how they prioritize their goals and how they prioritize their life. If they are, say, like their career is numero uno, then the gym's going to peg somewhere around that and they're going to work it around that. If their family life and their kids is number one, then I'm going to make sure that they're not going to miss out on crucial parts of their family's life. Like if they're on the school run, I don't want to heap a load of pressure on them to get in on the morning. Whereas if they know they can get in the evening, then that's fine. But I'm going to make them aware, like, the gym's busy, bro. Like, you better be keeping these workouts short, condensed, superset, trisets. You know, you hit cardio, get it done, get it out, move on. There's different ways. Different people like different types of workouts. Some people are quite happy to come very early in the morning. Some people can't get up. It's a real unique perspective to find out where they are and make and offer improvements to that so that they can sustain that for a longer period of time. Because without that sustainability, it's not going to work. And even if I manage to get you for 12 weeks and manage to absolutely smash you into the ground and lose a load of weight, which by the way is easy, but it's going to destroy your relationship with the gym. It's going to destroy your metabolism. You know, go on and on with that. It's not healthy, basically. You can do it and it's not healthy. But that's the same way like a prep for bodybuilding isn't like, it shouldn't be considered like normal or healthy. It's not the healthiest thing to do. Like relationships with food come into question, then you've got to rebound off that and get. So there's lots of things to unpack on that, but understanding that they're a human being and that they are wanting to do this to better themselves and to help them with this in whatever way I can. And that might be just understanding where they're wasting time in their day and how much they prioritize the gym. And if they can do other things to keep themselves healthy and fit at the end of the day and hopefully reach their goals. Yeah.
So your number one tip to put to someone with a 9-to-5 work life, gym life,
Yep.
What would your number one tip be for a balanced lifestyle where you can have your work, relationships, life, and your fitness goals, and keep healthy? What would you be? What would it be that?
Structure your day. Like, how many times do we? You run a business. right? You're busy. I run a business. I'm busy. I know when I'm working out. I know when I can work out. I know what my days look like. I know what my weeks look like. I know what my weekends look like. It's time management. It's knowing I can go to the gym there. I'm going to put that in on paper, in a diary, on your phone. It doesn't matter. Anywhere, and say I'm committing to making my life better and planning that out. That's the first step. Before you even get there, you've got to commit to that goal. And then after that, it becomes a level of, can I sustain that? How many times can I come a week? What are my goals? You know.
Do you reckon people are just not true to themselves?
I think sometimes you might kid yourself a little bit.
I think people they just make excuses. They're too busy making excuses.
I think when it comes to that, I think they kid themselves on their reason why. I'll unpack that a little bit. Someone comes to you, and I've read a fantastic book by John Goodman. It's called Ignite the Fire. I'm reading a couple others by his as well. He's a Canadian personal trainer, online trainer, runs PT Academy, I think. Like I was saying, so I read a good book. It's called Ignite the Fire by John Goodman. Very specifically targeted towards personal trainers and fitness industry like that. But he deep dives into a bit of psychology around, you know, what's the reason for someone asking personal training? Why is it here? And I think you're right in a sense that, do some people kid themselves? When they first come to me, yeah, they do. They find out actually there's a deeper reason why they want to do something. And sometimes they don't want to admit that it's very aesthetic based. Yeah. You know, like if none of us cared about having a six pack, then, you know, we'd all ball around quite happy at whatever level percentage body fat we want to be in, what we feel comfortable with. Sometimes it's about, you know, being able to fit into that, you know, red, black dress, whatever you've got that you haven't worn for a while. Maybe it's about, you know, I want to go to the beach and, you know, actually feel like really comfortable. If I wanted to wear a pair of like Speedos, I could pull it off.
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain level of confidence that comes from that. James Smith talks a lot about that. I mean, a lot of it's internalized, actually being able to get that, but some of it's, a lot of the time, it's to do with your body confidence. And the two are so closely linked. Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes they kid themselves about stuff like that.
I personally think they just do it all the time. And until they start seeing some kind of result. And but the problem is, when they join the gym, they want to see instant results. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. 2 weeks. Oh, bro, it's been 2 weeks, man. It's still the same. I said, so how long you been eating for? 30 years. I said, so you expect that to go in 2 days or 2 weeks? Yeah. It's going to take you months, bro.
To reverse.
Just forget about it.
To reverse what you've done. I've
just come.
Been eating crap food for 5 years, but I want it gone in 5 weeks. Like, it doesn't work like that. So
exactly.
If you're looking for advice, I'd say probably trust the process. Like, if you've got,
that's it.
You've got to be invested. You've got to be all in for it to truly work. And the people that get ridiculous results.
Of course, bro. I mean, I've been there. I've done it. I was 100 kilos when I first started 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Now I'm back to, I just weighed myself this morning and I was 82. But
awesome work, man.
I just feel great. I just love where I am. I can eat what I want at the moment.
Energy, yeah, all improved.
See, I restricted my diet so to get to a point where I visually look good.
Yep.
Then now I can have one cheat meal here, one cheat meal there, just before legs. I usually have my cheat meal, not a cheat meal, saying it's an off-plan meal. Yeah. A night before legs, so you kind of carb up nicely, and so you could push through the following day. So I can do that now.
Whereas more muscle now as well. So when we talk about things like that, we call something called metabolic adaptation. Do you know what that is?
No.
So that's when your body composition has changed from muscle to fat. So you at 100 kg previously, okay, and let's say you at 100 kg in the future when you're more muscle, it takes more calories to maintain that muscle than it does fat.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've actually, when you put yourself through metabolic adaptation, you've actually increased your maintenance calories because you have more muscle. And that's where a lot of people don't understand that, like, oh, I'm not gaining any more muscle, or, you know, it doesn't work like that. It changes with your body, with the amount that you are, like, you know, like that percentage of body fat and muscle does make a difference. You can go, when you're working out your BMR and other things like that, there's a lot of variables that you can put into place, and it's not always bang on. There's different methods to try and calculate that out. You've got to find out what works best for you. But, you know, people change throughout that, and that's why people normally who have more muscle, they're able to get away with eating more calories because of that metabolic adaptation, because they have more muscle. And because you're doing it systematically, not binging out on everything you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's all controlled. Yeah. Now, I was talking to my wife. I says, what do you think? On a serious note, you know, do I look harsh? She's like, look good.
Dangerous question, that, man. Yeah. They'll be the realist critics, you know. They won't hold back.
No, it's dangerous if it was the other way around. But I don't really give a shit.
There's no other answer to give, Barbie. You look amazing. Of course you do.
So she's like, yeah, it's really good. I said, remember when I used to do so much cardio, and you're losing a lot of weight. You're losing a lot of weight. I go, well, you got to strip off the shit that you don't want. And now I can put that back on controlled with good workout plan. And another thing is your workout plan has to kind of go hand in hand with your nutritional plan.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. Yeah. You can be a runner and lose body fat. You can do cardio and lose. I find it very, very boring to do cardio. Okay, no doubt. But if you want to do it that way, then by all means do it that way. But you can do it just by lifting weights and going through that body recomp, and then once again making those nutritional changes. Fitness is so much more like
it's all trial and error,
spread out as well. There's so many different types of fitness and workouts.
With trial and error, it takes a lot of time and effort.
That's why a PT or a coach can cut that corner for you.
Yeah,
they'd be like,
that's the only shortcut I think that you can have in this industry. That's the only shortcut I think. Hire a good coach who knows what he's doing, and he will teach you what he's learnt and kind of break it down for you. Say, okay, you don't need to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. If you want to look a certain way, this is what you need to do, rather than doing 5 years of trial and error, going all over the place and just thinking, this is not working for me. Yeah. Whereas it might just have been a little bit of something that you're missing. Yeah. And that was the answer to the whole picture where you want it to be.
It could be something as simple as that, or it could be like, you're way off in your beliefs of what you think is actually either sustainable or achievable or anything like that. But that's what we do. We point people in the right direction. We guide and advise them into the way. Like, it shouldn't be a dictatorship when you come on to someone. I understand there might be different styles of coaching. Some people may need that as well. It might benefit them.
I prefer that.
Yeah.
Get it done. Get it done. Like, oh, yeah, all right then. No. You gotta get this shit done. There's 3 sets. We're doing 3 sets, 20 reps. Boom. That's the way. We gotta get it done.
The majority of the general population that I coach would not do very well with that, shall we say. I wouldn't have many clients, I don't think, if I come in like a drill sergeant every single session.
But trust me, like, I prefer that. When I go back home in Birmingham, and I've got a friend of mine there at the gym. You've probably seen Fred.
Yeah, I've seen the tags.
I'm always talking about Fred. I only use him for my leg days. Yeah. That's it. Because he goes in 110%.
Knows how to push your buttons, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He goes, we're doing this. Yeah. And, I enjoy it. Yeah. I enjoy that session.
Yeah, slightly a bit sadistic, yeah.
It's just like, yeah, man.
Yeah, you come out feeling $1 million though, don't you?
100%. That hack squat, I'd never do that on my own that much. But I know I've got Fred that he's right next to my ear. Go on. And then you've got the other chap who's just walked in. Right, yeah, 2 more. Yeah. It's that vibe.
Yeah, massive shot of dopamine after as well, and you get all those endorphins after. You feel fantastic. Like that's the kind of like that can't be bought, man.
What do you think of your thoughts on body positivity? Now, it's a very interesting question because there's nothing more that really kind of gets to me when people say they're about this wide.
Yep.
Right? Now, this could be controversial, I think, but
we're about to get cancelled already. Don't worry.
But that's not the point. The point is, it's not healthy. And you can't tell me that I'm happy in that body.
There should be a realistic conversation around health and well-being regarding to this. I'm not talking about someone's mental well-being. I'm talking about your cardiovascular well-being. I'm talking about the impact you're going to put on the NHS at 40 or 50 with diabetes and cholesterol and knee replacements and stuff like this. Like, think about this. Like, this isn't...
Who come up with the fact that you can be happy being fat?
I don't know.
I seriously think the pharmaceutical company bought a set of politicians and said, guys, we need to sell this medicine. Can you come up with something? Right, yeah, okay, no problem. Right, fat people,
Wouldn't be the worst thing they've done over a couple of years, though, would it?
No. That's nothing for them. That's nothing. That's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll sort it out over lunch.
It's one of those. It's a hot topic because, like, if you come up against it, you're against people being happy. I'm not against people being happy.
Absolutely not.
I'm against people being not healthy.
Unhealthy.
Like,
because that is unhealthy.
That isn't. The obesity is an epidemic. There's no doubt about that. If you're looking at you look at the links between like big pharma and fast food and all this kind. I mean, like, it's so hot. Look at the Diary of a CEO podcast recently with I think it was Dr. Tim Spector, was it?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, and I listened to that, and it was interesting to see his perspective on everything, the microbiome, the gut, like all this like fat, sugars, all that stuff madness. In that. It's madness if you deep dive into it, and especially someone in the industry. When I was listening to that, I'm like, yeah, he's right about this. He's right that exercise by itself doesn't do this, but what he didn't like to say is that by going to the gym, you encourage a better way of thinking to increase your lifestyle to be in a better position. And if you go into the gym and working out, you don't then go home and scoff a KFC because you feel like you've just undone all the good work you've just done. And like that's the mindset shift kind of starts in the gym, and it should positively roll out into other places. But
100%. See, I can't diet if I don't go gym.
I find it harder. Definitely. I do find it harder.
I tried it in COVID, in lockdown, and I was just like, it's depressing as it is. And this bland food, nah.
Just sprinkles on top, doesn't it? That.
Nah. Forget it. Yeah.
It was very different.
Me some food, man.
Very different time. But it's the only thing we could have some control over, wasn't it? Like we were completely controlled, and the only thing we could control is what food am I having tonight? Really? Like you're stuck in home, the TV and your Xbox and all the rest of it,
And yes, everyone put calories on, comfort calories and whatnot, and you don't blame them. Like it was just that situation.
Yeah. If you didn't, by the way, props to you. You're better than me. Like unbelievable discipline and motivation to keep doing that throughout COVID. Ridiculous. My hat's off to you. Like seriously.
And that's the thing. Like and I think when you call someone fat, you're fat shaming.
They're fat.
If they're fat.
Yeah, they're fat. That's the honest truth.
That's the bottom line, right?
That's the bottom line. But I mean,
how can you make that more interesting? Like,
where does that scope?
Can you like make? Is there a nicer word for it? There isn't. If you're fat, you're fat.
Yeah, I think there's
and it's unhealthy.
A scope and a line for that. I think when you look at someone, like if you look at a power lifter, for instance, what they might do, they might look in a t-shirt. They're big, they're strong. Do they have higher percentages of body fat? Yeah, but I would guarantee you their heart was bloody strong.
Yeah,
So and they do their type of fitness, and more power to them.
Look, yeah.
But when you look at someone who's got rolls, and you look at someone, who clearly has problems and relationship with food and.
Like scoffing back fast food.
Yeah.
I'm happy. It's okay. You're fat shaming. You're I can't stand that.
I think
cannot stand that.
There's a level of it's because it's like kind of being flipped on. Is like is it being health shamed now? Like are we the other way around? Like are we being shamed for being healthy and looking after our bodies as well? So I think it's a tricky topic, but I think it has to be navigated with a certain level of empathy, but a certain level of realism as well. I think there's a good path to navigate through that, and you can't charge the bunker head on. Okay, you need to flank it. You need to find a way around them to where their defenses are weak. It's a big ass bend. Okay, because they put up a big wall of that body positivity.
You need to find a hole,
mate. I'm digging my own trench over that way to divert back in to flank you. Okay.
What tank would you need to destroy that?
Big one. Something the Yanks have.
Oh God.
But yeah, so that's what I would do. I'd find a way. Like there's a reason that you're trying to fight this on this side. I've seen a little bit on this. Like there's a lot of like with Lizzo recently in the news about that. And I'm like, if she's happy and she wants to continue like that, then that's fine. You can do that. But it's where they then influence other people that it's okay, and that is what you fight against.
It's like if you want to be fat and unhealthy and ugly or whatever, fine, that's your problem. But don't say it's okay to be that, because it's not. Don't influence people and get everyone unhealthy just because you can't be asked to get your lazy ass up and go and do some kind of physical activity. It doesn't have to be the gym. It could be anything. Go for a walk, trying to eat better.
And that goes as a society, mate, and as a civilization. If you look at where we've never had such an abundance of resources in our lifetime, okay? And now we don't have to cook our own foods, and we can order and eat out and grab processed food whenever we want. We wonder why all of a sudden we've become like almost lazy. In a sense like that. And I think when resources do start to become tighter, which is inevitable, as soon as that ceiling cap kind of hits, there's going to be an off shift. There will be a tipping point where this is realized, like, okay, yeah, we can't sustain this like this anymore. But yeah, it comes down to a health thing. It comes down to, are you healthy? Are you contributing to society? Are you being the best version of yourself? Like, very little times I think they can answer that in a positive way. But there's a lot of issues to unpack with that, with the body positivity side of things, trying to force that, mentality for one, relationship for food is another. Then we look at health and well-being. So you've got to unpack that all, and every single person will be different.
Yeah. Right. I want to talk about another thing that it's a big part of fitness, and a lot of people don't like talking about it.
Yep.
I
think I know what's coming.
Yeah. And and a lot of kids want to be on it.
Yep.
It's the use of PEDs, gear, as
assisted,
people.
Enhanced, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Now, have you ever used gear?
No.
Never.
Nothing.
And what are your thoughts on gear?
My thoughts are
in terms of who should use it, who shouldn't use it, when should you use it? There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's a prevalent question, especially in the fitness industry. I think it's becoming a little bit less taboo nowadays. I think it's being more openly talked about, like on this podcast. I think we should be having this conversation.
Absolutely. Because
it comes part and parcel with everything. When you look on your Instagram right now and you see all these shots of these edited photos of these guys jacked and ripped and huge and lifting these monster weights.
It's not real.
There's a chance, that is very high chance even, that someone is probably enhanced or assisted or using PEDs. So to unpack that, am I against it? No, I'm not against it. I know people who do take it, and I've got no problem with them taking it personally. Okay, it's when you do it in a manner that's rash or dangerous or influential to other people, where potentially dangerous. It is not something to be played around with. Okay, it can have long-lasting effects, and you can end up being on a medication for the rest of your life, and that is not something you should ponder about or just jab a needle into your ass and be okay with. I think you should be doing it, if you are going to do it, very cleverly. You need to go to a doctor, get your bloods done. You need to look at your markers. You need to be... I'm not even a specialist in this area. I don't have any real knowledge in this because I'm a natural athlete. Okay, I only care about what I can do naturally. I'm not looking to go assisted. I'm 30 now. If I was going to do that, I should have done it as soon as I come out of the military, when I could have. When you're in the military, you can't do that. Okay, you're strictly drug tested. You can't. And nor would you want to, really. Not in my personal view. Not within that lifestyle. So yeah, you need to be, if you're going to do it very carefully. Do it under a guidance of someone who has a lot of knowledge, either a very good coach or very trusted personal individual that has experience with that. Be careful about dosage as well, like what you're taking, how you're taking it. You can mess up your liver real bad. You can do some serious damage.
But I think jabbing would be a lot safer than oral.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I know it has its own pros and cons.
Yeah, everything's got pros and cons.
Yeah, and I know that the dosage amount you take.
You got your train, testy, anabol, debol, menstrual, anavar, deca. There's so many
to open up a cabinet, mate.
Yeah,
and
can you like what we say. We were talking about earlier, trial and test and all of that stuff.
You could, if you wanted to.
You can
play chemistry set on your own body. Would you want to do that? I wouldn't.
So what are the ones that this is a good set? But then again, you've never done it. So.
I don't have that knowledge to answer that question, Nasser. So I really wouldn't know. I'm not the right person to ask about. But what I am aware of is that there is if you are competing within bodybuilding, you are going to have to take this if you're pushing it to the
stage.
To the stage in a non-tested way as well. Like if you're going to go for it and you're an athlete and you're young and you think, oh, I love this stuff, I want to go to the top, it is inevitable. You are eventually going to have to jump on this.
Otherwise, you can't compete.
You won't be able to. Like I think it's what's scary is what's realistically done natural and what isn't. And I would probably say to you, like a really good, I don't want to call it culture, community, business, whatever, is natural worldwide bodybuilding and NBW, run by a couple of really solid guys from what I can see from their social media and everything. Yeah. And these are the guys at the top of their trade. And some of these guys are winning competition. Some of these have got like, national.
Those are the people worldwide. That you want to, if you do want to go down that route, you want to invest in a good coach who knows what to take, when to take, and how much to take. Yeah, because yes, everybody wants to be on it now. Let's be realistic. Everybody wants to be on it, and yes, it gives you amazing results. There's no doubt about that.
You can sit on your ass and you'll get bigger. By the way, you like the results off of these tests. That
just don't take your boxes off.
you could literally like sit there when they I've seen the trial test and I've read some information to do with it, listened to a few YouTube videos and podcasts on the topic, and basically from what I understand, you could take it, sit on the sofa, and you'd have more muscle mass than the guy that did nothing and then trained loads, purely because that's the way it works. It is a ridiculous drug, but that is what it is. It's a drug and it has pros and cons.
Yeah, it has pros and cons. You can have a higher muscle mass, but to get the best results, don't do that.
God, no.
No, just if you're gonna take it, make sure your nutrition is right. You've been tested properly. Your blood tests before, during, and after.
Pre-existing conditions as well. Like if your family has any, be careful of that.
All of that. A good, solid coach who knows what he's doing.
Yeah, reputation, reputable.
Yep, and a good workout plan as well, and make sure you sweat that shit out. So otherwise,
what you just said there is, I'm really glad you kind of nailed all that out there. Okay, and it's what I believe as a natural athlete. Why would you jump onto that before? If, like, say for instance, your nutrition's crap, your sleep's crap, your workout's crap, okay, and you don't have intensity, but you want to jump onto PEDs.
Exactly. That's the problem with these young kids today. They think, I'm going to jab myself. Boom. Or they'll see someone, he's just jabbed. He's just on gear. But you don't know the amount of hard work that guy's put in to look a certain way. Yes, he's probably had some kind of enhancement drugs and whatnot, but it's not easy to be on it. You have to be disciplined to a different level.
Look at these guys at the top. Look at the top. Look at the very, very, very top. These are the guys at the pinnacle. The C-bum, Hadi, who just won the Olympia.
Yeah.
Okay, these guys, look at what they do day in, day out. The discipline, the drive, the motivation. The drugs are like just the small bit they have to do. They have to do that. It's
you can't knock them just because they're on some few million of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I believe if you're doing it and if everyone's doing it, okay, it's like if you were doing a combat sport and you're tested, you shouldn't be doing it. Okay, like there's equivalent of fair play that goes on. Yeah. But my kind of thoughts on the subject is be bloody careful, and if you're going to do it smart, do it right, and make sure every other box has been ticked off before you jump on something like that.
Yeah. And it's people say do your research about it, find out, but where do you find this research from? Because going on Google and typing in what does anabol do? Again, you'll get shitloads of forums, and someone will say, it worked great for me, and then you got somebody, no, it didn't work good for me. I had hair loss, I had this, I had that. You think, shit, why is there so many different opinions?
Because once again, chemistry set you're talking about earlier.
Exactly.
Everyone's different. People are going to have different markers. You might be super high test already before going on that. You might be very low test. You might have an adverse reaction to this and not to that. You may bloat, you may get acne, you might get water retention. Like, there's all these other side effects, like you said. I think, like, if it's for you, you need to once again decide that you're all in and you're going to do that, and that's not to be taken lightly, because if what the guys won't tell you is that they're on, like, hormone replacement therapy for the rest of their life, TRT. After TRT. Okay, that's not something just to shake a stick at. Okay, that's a real thing to be on. And I think you can spend a long time as a natural athlete perfecting like your trade, your craft, before you want to do that. And if you do want to do that, then I would find a very good coach somewhere and be prepared to pay a little bit of money, because they've gone through all of that already, and they will know how to guide you in the right direction. And that there's good coaches and there's bad coaches out there, no different to any other walk of life. You know, there are good businessmen, bad businessmen. There are dodgy ones and not dodgy ones.
Yeah. And that's something that we're going to touch upon after this section.
Quick break.
Yeah. To talk about with you is nutrition side.
Yep.
What's your relationship with food like?
It is a lot better now than it has been. It has been previously a massive struggle of mine. Probably my biggest struggle.
You look better though. You've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, man. Like 127 kilos start of last year, this time January. I'm 10.2 this morning.
Wow.
So, you know, 17 kilos off. 10.2. So 17 kilos almost off that. My heaviest during COVID was 137. Walking around at 300 pounds, ladies and gents, is not fun. Okay, you're out of breath walking upstairs. Like, I'm out of breath walking upstairs now anyway, but that's not the point. Like, I was like struggling, but you know, I was working in engineering, doing bits, just eating crap. Okay, my relationship with food was not good. It was purely an energy based thing. I needed a glucose or a sugar pump. My relationship with food now is a lot better. I understand there's give and take. I understand what I can have and what I can't have. I've got myself in a regular routine of eating really good, healthy, nutritious food, supplemented along with good supplements as well, not relying on supplements only.
Do you reckon, like, a lot of people think, I'll have a protein shake, I'll have this and I'll have that. It's not the best thing. I personally use a protein shake just to kind of fill it in if I need to. Otherwise, all of my protein comes from food.
Yeah, top up, mate. Yeah, it's heavily relied upon. It's called a supplement for a reason. It's supposed to supplement your diet.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to add that extra kind of cherry on the top to an already good diet. I think there's too much emphasis put on these supplements to make a change to your body, whereas we know the science behind a lot of it is complete marketing BS pushed on by brands, and some of it, there's some scary tests done out there, you know, like on fat burners. Like, I see a recent one where like a lot of them didn't even have the ingredients they listed or in quantities. Wow. They said, okay, that kind of crazy level, you know, if you pick up a bunch of fat burners off Amazon, okay, chances are there's not actually what you think is in it, nor is it actually science-based backed. You know, it's not backed by science. A couple of things we do know that work: creatine, caffeine, protein. Those things are solid. We know they all work.
Yeah, because creatine is what it's naturally.
Yeah, you can find it in chicken and stuff like that.
Yeah, and your body produces that naturally as well, and
and you have to load it. By the way, you don't take it and it's like instant gains. Okay, you load it.
That exactly. That's that like, it comes back to that. Oh, it's been 2 weeks, bros. I'm still the same.
Patience, isn't it? Patience.
It's all patience, discipline, you know, mindset. Everything has to change for your body to change. If there's one element in that, which is, say for example, is you're stressed out about something, it's not gonna have that full optimum effect on your weight loss or your fat loss or whatever it is, because there's a difference between weight loss and a fat loss.
Yes, absolutely. Weight loss is everything.
Yeah.
Fat loss is predominantly trying to maintain as much muscle as possible and just getting rid of that fat.
Yeah.
Whereas weight loss, it's a lot easier to do. You don't have to worry about trying to retain the muscle whatsoever. You just worry about smashing weight off. Normally, weight loss is like referred to when a fighter is trying to cut weight. Like, he doesn't really care about like what he's losing. He just cares about that number on the weighboard. That's it. So it's important to know, once again, goal setting. Like, do you want weight loss? Do you actually want to get rid of everything? Because that's easy. Just smash you into the floor, don't eat, calorie deficit, done.
Boom.
Or do you want to actually keep the muscle you've got? And that's fat loss. That's a little bit harder, because we've got to try and maintain as much muscle as possible, which means we need to not stress ourselves out, too much strain, more protein, work out in a way that's conductive for muscle stimulus, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And when people try to like eat clean, it's about tracking calories, all of that stuff.
Can be.
And recently, I can't remember who was saying it, that it's not about calories in and calories out.
I think that was on WCO as well. Like, I think these are all tools. Okay.
I was just like, how does that work? Like, is this something that I'm missing, or have they just found out about something else? It's not I'm sure it's what you put in, what you take out, job done, end of story. You know, yes, you've got your macros, your all of that stuff, and avoiding certain foods, but it all comes down to calories in and calories out, doesn't it?
So a couple things to unpack there. Right, eating clean is the first one. Like, your diet should be a healthy diet. Okay. Yeah. Now, the referred to of dirty and clean is dirty is going out and getting the McD's. Yeah. Okay, and clean is having the chicken and rice. That associate
from Pepe's.
From Pepe's. You know what I mean? Currently downstairs. Slide that in, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be ashamed of you if you didn't, by the way. But yeah, so that association there, man, between the two, that's one thing that people need to unpack, their relationship to food right there, eating clean or eating dirty. Okay, there should be a healthy diet, and then there are things you can have in certain amounts and quantities and be fine with. You can't eat the whole 12-pack of Krispy Kreme donuts, okay? But you can have one. You can even have 3, maybe, push. If you want to track it and fit in your macros, crack on. But don't associate that to dirty eating and clean eating. You should have a nice, varied spread of a diet. It's more of a
controlled eating, I'd say.
Yeah. And
because you know what you are eating and what you are going to be burning out. And at the end of the week, if it kind of fits in your 2,500 calories. And
I think it's training as well. So we in the fitness industry, we utilize these tools. So like keto is a tool. It can be very, very good to get a lot of weight off of someone, but it's not sustainable. Yeah. Okay, calorie tracking is a tool. We can use it. Some people don't like to. Okay, some people don't want to face that harsh reality of actually how much calories are in their food that they shouldn't be eating.
Usually the body positivity people that don't like to do that.
You're on a war campaign against them, aren't you?
No, I just want everyone to be healthy. That's it. And if that's what it takes, then bring me the military, mate. Let's go. I'm ready.
Wipe this out, get a battle plan.
Get me the tanks out.
Imagine a little Nasir flag and NASA flag about it, you know what I mean?
It's not going to be a white one.
I'm
not surrendering anytime soon.
No, I'm thinking you with the logo one for the podcast flying above, you know. But yeah, so when we look at that, there's so many tools out there to use. You don't need to do one. This calories in versus calories out is sometimes manipulated by people with agendas, and sometimes it's ultimately quite truthful, but then it gets manipulated on the calories out part a little bit more. So like, if you eat this, you can go out and just do like a 500, 600, 700 calorie run. Like, we know that doesn't actually work. It doesn't actually work. Otherwise, it would be so easy to acclimatize certain foods and just do certain cardio to get rid of that. It doesn't work. Your body will only burn so many calories off before it kind of puts a cap on it and says, I'm not burning anymore because I'm going to go into that starvation mode, or I'm going to go into that mode where like I'm not going to get rid of it anymore. It's a point of diminishing return. And it is why a lot of people will do a lot of cardio for a long time, and then they'll get to a sticking point where they won't lose any more weight. They've killed their metabolism off. Okay, and their body's just like, nope, not doing it. I'm not getting rid of this fat anymore. I'm not using it.
What's that? What's it called? I call it the. God, I forgot the name now.
What's it about? Describe it.
The survival mode.
Yeah,
I call it the survival mode. Your body will go into survival mode, and that's it. That's it. I need this. We're not getting rid of this. Otherwise, there's going to be problems.
Yeah, it's normally the person doing like 700 calories on the treadmill, eating 1,000 calories, and then wonder why they're not losing weight. It's like, your body's like, no chance. I'm not getting rid of any of that. I don't know when the next meal is. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's purely in survival mode.
Yeah. See, now I was doing, when I was, this May actually saying that, I was doing an hour Stairmaster in the morning and then doing about half an hour in the evening, but my food was quite high. But now, because I've lost all of that, I went down to 75, 76. I lost all of that, and now I'll just do 20 minutes brisk walk, inclined, and that's it, and I'm cool with that. Cause
I was also smashing myself on cardio for a large period of last year as well. Now I only just do 10k steps. I make sure I get them in, and I'm good. And I've been losing more weight more rapidly by more sticking to adherence to my calories. A lot more. Because
your body understands that there's food coming, I can get rid of this, not a problem, it's all good.
The stress on the body as well, the amount of stress you put yourself under by putting yourself at that elevated heart rate for that period of time, and then you also look at the fact that how busy you actually are. So I was doing that cardio, waking up, putting my body under more stress, then doing the 10 to 14,000 steps unknowingly, and then trying to drive that those calories down while working out at the same time. Like, you know, I've got to give massive props to my coach, Elliot Gibson, by the way, who I've started working with in November, and he just took one look at me and saw that I was so busy, and he was like, scale back.
You went, shocking, mate. Got some hard work here to do.
Yeah, he went, Jesus Christ, man.
Where have you been?
we scaled it back. So we like, stop putting your body under so much stress. Okay, and it's no dissimilar what I do with some of my clients. They say I want to work out 5-6 times a week, and I'm like, fantastic, I love that enthusiasm, but let's start with 3. Okay, let's start with 3. Let's get the intensity right.
Start with something that's more sustainable for you.
Yeah,
otherwise you're just gonna be like, oh, forget this.
Yeah, if I challenge someone to get the intensity of those 3 sessions right, then they can normally do that. If I tried to do that with 5 or 6, they would be exhausted.
Yeah.
And then you try to pile cardio and other bits on top of that, and it's not going to work. Like these, once again, that balance.
Unless you are super dedicated, you're on it, you've got nothing else to do.
And experienced. Like you actually know what you're doing. I don't have to teach you how to do the compound basic movements to take you from nothing to beginner mode almost. Like if you're already there and you're pushing forwards, then fantastic. We can go deeper, we can push more. Yeah. But a lot of the time it's just you
get your regular people coming in trying to look good, and you know what, I respect that. Anyone and everyone in the gym, I've got nothing but respect for them. Even, you know, oversized people,
grinding
and
away, man.
And
everyone
you know
starts somewhere.
If oversized people or fat people said, I want to go to the gym and sort this out, I'm all up for it, man. No problem.
If you're overweight and you've taken action to get down to the gym, I applaud you. Fantastic. 100%. Good work.
I'm all in for that. Healthy. Yes, you know, everyone makes mistakes. I was fat. I got a click in my head, started doing it, loved it, and I feel great. And I think I can talk about that openly because I've been there and I've come out of it, and I know the journey and how nice it feels to be in a certain shape. You know, your confidence, everything is just wow. When you meet people, they compliment you. Oh, you're looking great. Da, da, da. You know, and you fit in nice clothes, and they're cheap as well, because even the cheap clothes look nice on you, and you think, great.
Just generally buzzing.
Exactly. You know, you can go to Primark and pick up a t-shirt, and you think,
I'll make this look good.
Yeah, that looks like a 60 quid shirt. Not a problem. I'm buying that.
But it's important. It's important to have that honest conversation with yourself around that.
You have to be honest. Even till today, people say to me, how are you motivated to go to the gym every single day and do what you do? How don't you get bored of it? I says, look, I'm not motivated anymore. I'm not. It's just now. It's part of my life is discipline. I have to do it. I don't want to get up at 7 a.m, get ready, go to the gym, do my 45 minutes cardio, come home, do my work, and then in the evening go and do my workout. I don't want to do it. You know, I don't want to, but it's the discipline now. It's the mindset that I have to do it. And the day I don't do it, it's like I've not done anything, and it's just an absolute waste of time.
Yeah, so to relate to that is to do with like feeling like the best version of yourself. So if you don't train and you don't get those things done, you don't feel as good as about yourself. It has a knock-on effect to everything else.
Everything else.
I would try to say like relate that back to how you felt when you were overweight, when you were, you know, this is not just you, but in general, like, just lack of energy, depressed, anxious, unconfident, okay, all the below throughout that. And the change that happens through that is the opposite of that, you know, confident, you know, not as anxious, want to go out, meet more people, try new things, growth, all that good stuff.
Okay, what would your number one nutrition hack or tip be for somebody who has a busy lifestyle?
Being prepared, man. Like being prepared for everything. Cook? Oh, it doesn't matter, mate.
But they can't cook though.
Doesn't matter if you can't cook, mate. You can be prepared. Like, so classic example of this. So I have multiple clients who live very busy lifestyles. I'm not going to name drop or do anything like that. Respect their privacy and whatnot. But understand this, that some of these people are working in very high stress situations, okay, on the front line of our services in this country, okay, dealing with the worst of humanity.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is probably not a harder lifestyle to maintain from that. And the way I coach in this is that I'm like, okay, so if you know this, if you're on shift, say for instance, okay, doesn't matter, nurse, fire, ambulance, police, doesn't matter. Okay, how are you then going to prepare yourself for that day? Do you know what you're eating before you go to shift? And do you know what you've got in the fridge after you go to shift? Yes. Okay, so there's 2 meals right there, home cooked fresh meals potentially. If you don't know how to cook, learn. Okay, it's a basic skill. You should be able to do like eggs on toast or a jacket potato. That's not rocket science. I'm not asking you to learn nuclear fission, okay? I'm sure you can work the microwave, okay? Like at the very least, kind of thing. And then if you're not looking at that, you can go buy a pack of prepared chicken and potatoes, and they're pre-cooked. Everything's done for you now. Now, granted, is that the healthiest version process?
But you can get those. You can get prep meals as well now.
You can do that. So, but I will say to them, have you got a go bag? Have you got something with you? Have you got food for you during that shift? So if you get cut off and you can't get a hot meal in or a fresh meal in, have you then got these, like the Rice Krispie bar, the beef jerky, the protein bar, the shake with you, the hydration? Are you set? Are you prepared for that worst case scenario? Best case scenario, you're having a nice meal somewhere on your break, or you manage to get one at the cafeteria. Best case scenario. Yeah. What's your worst case scenario? Okay, have you planned or prepped for that? And that once again goes down to like writing like your workout in your diary or whatever that might be. Are you then looking at that and going, okay, I'm going to have breakfast here, I'm having lunch here, and I'm having dinner here, I'm going to probably have a snack around here, probably snack around here. You know, if you're like, oh, you know, I forget I'm working, I'm so busy, put a timer on your bloody phone. Like how long that going to take you? 10 seconds to set it up? Like that's the level of like input I'm talking. I'm not trying to teach like crazy level mechanics here. It's basic things that will enable you to improve your quality of life, and being prepared is one of them. I think that comes down to my military days, like,
and I think that again it comes down to people making excuses as well,
and the discipline as well, being disciplined, knowing that like I need to do this.
Because if you really want something, you'll make time for it. That's it. You know, if you fell ill one day and the doctor said you have to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a run, and if you don't do it you will die in 2 months, would you do it? 100%.
That's an interesting topic you actually brought up there, because are we prescribing exercise enough to fix problems in the society? I don't believe so either.
We're not. We are reliant on medication
Hugely.
and technology.
Big pharma, mate. Big pharma's out there, watch out.
Yeah, we're watching you.
They're watching us.
And that's the problem, because as you go, you'll prescribe you some pills that'll keep you going.
Come back again in 6 weeks. Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, you know, I think these big pharma companies have hired a bunch of politicians. So right, we need to sell this. Come up with a plan. They're like, yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it.
I'm looking forward to this Netflix series coming out in a few years about this. Okay, presented by yourself, yeah? Looking forward. This is going to be fire.
And I think that's what it is, bottom line. You know, people rely on... My dad's diabetic now. You know, he had a stroke and whatnot.
Is he right?
His one side doesn't work because he had a major one. And it's been 20 years now. Yeah. And before that, he had no diabetes, no nothing, no blood pressure, nothing. And but because of the illness now, there's literally one side gone. But he still tries to kind of keep walking about. I bought him a little bike where he can sit down and just, you know, we've modified one of the pedals to where he can just put his leg in and just kind of keep with one leg going, and because he can push.
Adapted.
Just adapt it. Yeah. And that makes me really happy, because I know he's trying to do something. I know it's not 100%.
Never will.
But it's something.
Yeah.
Like, he can't walk on his own. We have to hold his hand to walk. And for somebody to even try to do stuff like that, it's really nice, you know. And yes, that's a different situation now. He has to have the tablets. You know, because half of your body doesn't work, so you can't exactly go to the gym and do what you need to do.
Yeah, but that's what you look at health of some people. Like, is that a potential where you could end up if you live an unhealthy lifestyle, smoke and drink and take drugs? You know, regardless of,
you get there a lot quicker.
Oh yeah, man.
Absolutely. And that's the bottom line of it. You know, it's really, really dangerous. I think nutrition is one of the most important thing. In anything.
You ever educated about it at school?
Me, no.
I can't remember maths. I did food DT, and I remember learning about how to
everyone
cook
does that,
food.
yeah.
I remember that food was tasty, but I don't ever remember learning in school what a macronutrient is or what maintenance calories is or anything like that.
No.
And that's mad, isn't it?
School, I think, teaches. I'm personally against the whole education system.
As the entrepreneur that you are.
At the moment, the way things are.
That's a whole other podcast. That.
Yeah. And I think that the key elements in life are not being taught. Yes, you get taught your maths, your English, your subjects,
I agree.
But the stuff every day to day, we don't get taught about finances, how to manage finances, taxes. Yep. That's what makes you
nutrition, health, working out. You know, you get taught PE at school, right?
Yeah, but that's just running around. Yeah. That's just football.
You ain't going to do that for when you go into the gym. You've had no training on how to use any equipment or movements whatsoever. I don't know what a squat looks like. I don't know what a lunge looks like.
Yeah, and our health secretary.
Say la vie, my friend. Say la vie about that.
I think she only had. I think her lessons were in the canteen. Right, a lot of people, supplements, vitamins, they think that, wow, it's too much. But again, they have benefits.
Yeah, some of them have been proven to definitely aid and help. Some of them are not. So if you deep dive into that, you might be surprised actually what works and what doesn't. Stick to the basics. Stick to the stuff that's very well known. That does work from the scientific community. Do your own research.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so coming to the last bit, and there's some PTs, and this is a very, very interesting question for yourself.
Yep.
Now, are some PTs stealing a living, such as too expensive or too cheap? Technique with their clients, or are they preaching what they are selling? Now that is interesting because
that's a big question, mate.
A lot of PTs, what they do now, what's a selling point for a PT? His own physical, visual, physique.
In the fitness industry, we are very driven by like that physical look. You are your business and all the rest of it. Yeah. But there's a flip side to that. But I'll let you finish.
So now, if I want a PT, I'm gonna look at someone and say, you know what, he's got 6-pack. He looks banging.
Most people do.
Fantastic. Looks great.
Yeah, him.
I want him. Yeah. I want him to be or her to be my PT. Right. I approach you. Say, for example, you're that person. I approach you, say, bro, I want to look like you, or I want to look like this picture. Yeah, no problem, bro. It's going to cost you £1,500, 12 weeks, and I'll get you there. Okay, cool. 12 weeks gone, and I don't look anywhere near that. I think, bro, you say that I can look like this or look like yourself after 12 weeks. What happened?
So you take your car into the garage. That's okay. They said they're going to fix it for you, and then they don't fix it. What's happened? They haven't delivered.
They haven't delivered the goods, basically.
They haven't delivered. And that goes down to many different industries, I suppose, as well. There's that people can promise something and they don't deliver. Yeah. And that is the results. Okay, you're paid to do a job at the end of the day. Yeah. Granted, there's a lot of things that come into that with personal training because it is personalized. You have to build the relationship. There has to be a level of trust with the client. They have to understand it, so you have to communicate effectively to that person in whatever way they're going to see. Like some people learn better off voice notes and text, some off video, some in person, some online. Are some people stealing a living? I mean, there's cookie cutter programs and people getting other people to write their programs and all sorts of stuff like that. There's always people trying to rip each other off. Sometimes the fitness industry is unfortunately guilty of driving the price down to the bottom dollar to try and compete with each other. But that should be the opposite. Whoever gives the most value as a coach should be charging the most because they give the most, whether that's
absolutely
their experience, their knowledge, the way they can get results, their systems in place, all the above throughout that. But it's a highly unregulated industry, Nasa. Okay, there is no governing body.
Even the supplements, everything is there's no what's the word?
Well, there's a food safety association that okays it, but they're normally playing catch up.
Yeah,
a lot of the time, you know. So in here, but in the US, I don't think there is.
There's no regulations for it.
But in the personal training, like if you do your personal training course, say you do it now, and in 10 years' time, you want to become a PT, you can. But you haven't done anything for 10 years. There's no continuous career progress developing. There's no...
It's like in the aviation industry, every year you have to renew your license.
Yes.
You have to learn whatever's out there.
Yep, exactly that, mate. Exactly that.
So,
there's nothing like that. Okay.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. So it is up to the coach, okay, or the big companies in the industry, mainstream or not, I'm not going to shout any names out, okay, mainstream or not, to uphold those standards, okay? And a lot of them won't. They simply won't, okay? They don't care enough. They are worried about the member base in the gym. That's their priority, and it's a business, and they're right to do so. But in my experience, I've worked for multiple gyms, okay? Big gyms that are still about, some of them smaller that aren't about anymore. And I can safely say there is no, this is the standard of PT. There are in other places, don't get me wrong. You've got some fantastic organisations like M10 Academy with Mark Coles and people like that driving the standards of personal training up. And that goes the same for many other fantastic people out there. That I'm not going to stand a list and name drop of people that I know, but there are forces of good acting out there to try and push the standards up and up and up. Unfortunately, they're not a lot of them are in many ground floor levels around. There is no, gold standard for that. So unfortunately, what you get is just this absolute sporadic levels of different people,
test a coach,
like different levels. Like, and are there people that are dishonest? Yes. Are there people that have a lack of integrity? Yes, there is. But that's no different to any other industry as well.
So why is it like that? Like, say, for example, I've got a 6-pack and somebody's come to me, I've took the money and 12 weeks later, they're not nowhere near what I look like. Yeah. What I promised.
Yeah. You know what I'll do in that situation quickly, by the way? What? I'd work for them until I get them the results they want.
But he's already took your money though.
Yeah, no, on the flip side of that, if I was the PT and that didn't happen, because I've had successes and failures as well. We screen the successes from the top, but we're never honest enough about certain failures that we have. And sometimes we don't get the results, but it's a learning curve. But
success and failure is part of life.
Yeah, but so okay, continue anyway. He's taking the money.
He's taking the money, but he hasn't told him that,
hasn't delivered.
If you want to look like Mr. X, you need to be on X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, or it's going to take you this long to do it.
Or it's going to take you 3 years instead of 3 months.
Yeah, that's the realistic conversation you need to have with potential clients.
Because when I did my first cycle, that's the conversation my PT had with me. Said, look, if you want to look like this, because I showed him a picture.
Yep.
Right, I'm talking from my own experience now.
Yep.
Showed him a picture because this is what I want to look like.
Yep.
I want this physique. He says, yep, no problem. But you have to be on X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
Do you want to do it? Because he was very, very honest with me.
He was
and
open
very
and honest.
Upfront.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's signs of a good coach.
And I really, and since then I've just been with him.
Yeah.
It's been nearly coming up to 4 years now.
Amazing.
I've just stuck to him because you know what? I know he's an honest guy. Yep. He's got my back. He's not going to screw me over. And then he said, "Yeah, think about it. And once you're ready, we can go."
Yeah,
but if
no
you
pressure
don't
there as well, man.
Yeah,
nice.
No pressure because I was going to his gym anyway.
Yep.
And so I went back, had to think about it, had questions, asked questions from him. He's explained everything to me, like every question that I had, he answered it. And then I said, all right, cool. It was my choice.
Yeah. And see that you went through that whole process there, okay, from start to finish. Okay, and that's fantastic. That's an ideal situation there, the ideal setting.
No pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the ideal situation of how that kind of went. Like a lot of the time, it does not go like that. Yeah. Like there could be multiple different reasons throughout that: personality clash, ego, not wanting to actually say about certain things because they don't have the knowledge in it. Yep. Like if someone wanted to come up to me and say, like, "Oh, I want to lose this much weight in this time," I said, "It's either doable or it's not doable," and I'll be brutally upfront about that. sometimes it's a hard conversation to have because there's a financial pressure as personal trainers have to make ends meet. And sometimes that will get in the way of actually being a good PT.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the power of saying, and unfortunately you have to say no. You have to turn that money down. And a lot of personal trainers won't do that. They won't say no.
So just be careful who you go to.
Do your due diligence, do your research, ask
research,
around.
Yeah. Just don't go on Google forums. The best thing is to ask people who've done it, have experienced it, regardless if it's steroids or drugs or just normal general, weight loss or whatever it is.
Experience is definitely
that's the best
necessary.
Thing,
experience, reputation.
Experience,
reputation.
And all right, if, Martin's had 3 people out of 5 say, yep, it was great. It got us where we wanted to be. Fine, 3 successes out of 5. It's above, your middle ground. So fantastic. Whereas if it was the other way around, then you think about it and go, okay, maybe not. Even if it's 50 quid, it's charging you. That's not the point. The point is it value for money? Because my PT is not cheap, but is it value for money? 100%.
Yeah.
I get what I want, and I look the way I want.
And you look at how that pyramid goes up, and you go to the top guys and ask them how much, they are. And what's the reason? Well, they get results. They have experience, they have knowledge, they're tried and tested, and they've got great reputations. And that's what you should be looking for in a coach. That's all the above like that.
That's it. £1,500 I paid for my first transformation, and everyone said to me, 1,500 quid? You mad? And those same people are like,
that's cheap.
What was your diet plan when he gave? Can you send us your diet plan? I went, like, seriously?
Just said how much it costs, and you want me to send it to you for free. It's tailored to me, but good luck.
Exactly. So that's it's just a massive conversation we can have.
Yeah, it's huge. It's
just
huge.
On that.
It's a huge problem. The unregulation of it all, and it just being so freelance and just like so varied. It's a little bit of a Wild West area, but I think it's getting better. I think it's harder to fly under the radar now and not be a good PT.
Yeah. Right. Quick fire questions. I've got 5 questions for you.
Yep.
So you choose one. And then I've got another last question, which is the most underrated and overrated exercise in the gym. So,
yep, go.
First question, deadlift or squat?
Deadlift.
Barbell or dumbbell?
Dumbbell.
Treadmill or Stairmaster?
Stairmaster.
RDL or hip thrust?
RDL.
Dumbbell rows or lat pull downs?
That's a toughie.
That's what I said. I was like, ooh. I like both.
Yeah, I like both as well. Let's go lat pull down.
Lat pull down.
Yeah.
And what do you think, out of your experience, most underrated and most overrated exercise?
So a lot of any kind of like this stuff I see, the plate grip.
I swear to God, right? Once I was doing that at my gym in Birmingham, and my PT came over to me, he goes, "What the hell are you doing? I don't ever want to see this shit in my gym. If I ever see you this,
I'm guilty of doing the same, and I've done it.
And get out.
I've done it. I've learned that.
What? He goes, "Yeah, don't ever do shit like that. It's absolutely pointless.
It's garbage. It's a garbage exercise. The list could go on. Like I could be here all day saying like that, but that is probably the one that I'm seeing the most of. This closed grip or high press with the plate, thinking that like you're somehow squeezing the chest more and stuff. Like go check out Jeff Nippard's video. Go check out these people that are far smarter than me to do with biomechanics, and they're gonna rip it apart. Don't do it, guys. It's not worth it. Because we're all looking at you like WTH. Okay, we might not say it, but we're thinking that. Okay, just do the basics: pec fly, pec press, crack
End
on.
of story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it everything basic,
exactly.
Nice, basic, tried and tested movements. That's what you need.
They work,
why are you trying to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. There's some fantastic, like more specific movements out there, but like when you need to get there, man. Like if you can't, like I'm still thinking to myself about how I can perfect these smaller movements, and we're talking like micro level stuff here, like.
Lower the weight, get the squeeze in, and then
refine, get better, and then before you know it, like people are like, Jesus, like how are you lifting that? And it's like, well, I've been practicing for like X amount of years on these simple movements over and over and over again. Like, you can swap it up and change it, of course, to keep it interesting, but the fundamentals remain the same.
Yeah. And the most underrated?
I'd probably think it's something like a walking lunge from a lower perspective, and on the top end perspective, like the dumbbell chest press as well, for just like overall like thing. Like the walking lunges, like people hate them, they fear them almost, like they don't like them, but they are such a fantastic movement. They just leave you gassed out. They use so much like muscle to try and move around, and every time I do it with a barbell, I just think about Ronnie Coleman, and it gives me motivation to get it done. You know, I'm screaming "yeah buddy" in my head, like full well knowing I will never reach that ever in my life.
But see, that's the vision though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the vision.
If he can do it, you can do it. You got 2 legs, he's got 2 legs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, everything is the same.
Yeah.
You know,
he's human. I'm human.
That's
like,
it.
You know, well, I actually doubt if he was actually human, to be fair, because that guy was incredible.
Yeah, amazing. So one last question.
Yeah.
What would you say to inspire somebody who's just trying to get back into the gym, or is just want to get back into the gym and make himself healthy, fit, and you know, have that little regime going?
Yeah, I would say, if you're not going to regret it, you're never going to regret going to the gym and making it part of your lifestyle. Never. Like, never have I ever seen it be a negative thing. Obviously, there's such things as overtraining and staying there for too long and whatever, but I've never seen it be a negative thing. I've never seen someone go, well, you know what? Like, I went to the gym too much. Like, there's so many pros from doing it: health, well-being, mental welfare, bringing a little bit of vibe, community, meeting new people, friends, okay, 100%. Making acquaintances, you know, meeting goals, you know, all the above. I just don't think you don't regret it, and you will regret not going.
That is 100%.
So you will regret not going. And I look back at that time in COVID, and I regret not staying active and fit and healthy for whatever reason, because I was not happy for the most part of that, you know.
Everyone was in the same boat. So
You know,
I try and not even think about that horrible part of our life.
Yeah, but I relate that to how can now it's a privilege and a gratitude thing now to be able to come to the gym and work out, because I've experienced not being able to do that. And for you, this day and age, if you're listening now and you have the opportunity and you can train,
go, man.
Do it, because you will not regret it.
100%. Martin, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me.
We could sit here all night and talk about it.
Yep.
All night. In fact, we could stay here till Sunday morning if that was the case. But really appreciate you coming, taking time out for me. And wicked, yeah, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, that was Martin. And actually, sorry. Before we finish, where can they find you?
You can find me at ms_pro coaching on Instagram, same as TikTok. I've got a website, www.msprocoaching.com. You know, you can reach out to me on email, martinskinnerprocoaching@gmail.com as well. But yeah, any of those social media sites or anything like that, you can find me at, and I am more than happy to help anyone that needs a helping hand.
There you go. You can't get any more simpler than that. So keep it real. Don't lie to yourself. Get to the gym, lose some weight, feel better, look great, and everything else will fall.
Have some fun doing it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.